topics and opinions expressed in the following show are solely those of the hosts and their guests and not those of W4CY Radio, its employees, or affiliates. We make no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our web. No liability, explicit or implied, shall be extended to W4CY Radio or its employees or affiliates. Any questions or comments should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for choosing W4CY Radio.
Welcome to the Ask the Expert show on W4CY Radio and Talk4 TV, where we bring you educational information from top local experts in the fields of legal, health, financial, and home improvement. Now sit back and listen to experts in family law, association law, hearing loss, business brokers, home care, along with many other topics. Now here are your hosts, Steve-O and Sophia.
Hey, good afternoon, Tennessee. Welcome to another Ask the Expert show, where for the last 16 years, we bring you the top experts in the field of legal, health, financial, and home improvement. Hey, today's show is, I would put it in the health area. We're going to be talking about Medicare. And I got to tell you, we have got the top agent in the state of Tennessee. And I got to tell you, before I bring them on, I just want to tell you, it is so important that you get a good agent, because I did not have a good agent my first year, and it cost me dearly. It put me into some really bad positions, and I have so much respect now for agents, and we've got the best. Let me introduce you to Randy Hall. He is, I love the name of his company, Mr. Nice Guy Medicare, and he is.
Hi, how's everybody?
Hi,
Merry holidays. Happy Christmas.
Yeah, Merry Holiday. Yes. Hey, can you believe Christmas?
I might be dyslexic, Steve.
Next week? Good. I'm telling everybody how great you are. No, but Randy,
at least
you
we
know
all have
what?
a sense of humor.
Yeah, no kidding. But, I love the way you explain everything, because, we're dealing with older adults.
Right.
And I'm one of them. And
I wasn't going to point that out, but now that you did.
Okay, that's enough out of you. I know where you live. Okay, so, but you've got to be able to communicate. It's a different demographic, and you deal with this every day.
Well, I mean, the thing about what I do, somebody wiser than me once said, if you're going to be in a serious business, try to have a little levity because you'll stand out. And if you're in a humorous business, try to have a little bit of seriousness to you because you'll stand out. And this is pretty boring, serious topic. So when I'm dealing with people, I try to come at it from their perspective. I try to look at it. What would I want to hear, or what would approach would I want if I was in their shoes? And that's kind of where I come from, kind of the golden rule, if you will.
Well, I got to tell you, I think you're in one of the most important businesses because, again, like I was saying at the beginning of the show, I had an agent that supposedly was independent, but only offered me one plan. When I found out later there was 4 or 5 plans, and I found out how bad he was when I had to call him.
Jeez.
And it's just customer service, which I've learned from you, is so important.
Well, the thing about customer service, you don't need us very much. You shouldn't, hopefully, need us much. But when you do need us, we should be responsive. You know what I mean? If you call me, my personal standard is somebody calls me, texts me, emails me, I try to get back in touch with them within 24 hours. Usually less than that, but that's my standard. And if you actually need help, guess what? If I don't know what to do, I try to find out. I know it's a wild idea, Steve. Actually try to find out something that I don't know. But that's the kind of thing I'll do for my clients.
But Randy, there's so many, especially, I don't know if this year more than others, there's so many changes And, there's companies that are pulling out of even entire markets and different rules and benefits. There's so much to learn.
Well, we just wrapped up annual enrollment period on the 7th of December. As I'm talking to you, it's the 16th of December. But a lot of people don't realize there's different enrollment periods. So say you got on a Medicare Advantage plan and come the first of the year, it's not a good fit for you. A lot of people don't realize they can make one change from the first of the year to April 1st, ironically, April Fool's Day, if they're going from one Advantage plan and they need another one. Now, if you're on original Medicare and you want an Advantage plan, you can't do that. But if you have an Advantage plan and you want a different one, or you want to go back on original Medicare and get a supplement, you are able to do that if you can get the supplement by qualifying through answering health questions, typically. So just be aware that if you have buyer's remorse after the first of the year, you're not stuck.
What do you find most people that they want to change their policies if they don't like their doctors?
Well, so it's typically what'll happen is somebody, an agent or somebody that they're talking to on the phone, will either mislead them, sometimes straight up lie to them, and make them think that their doctors or providers are in the network, and come to find out, whoops, they're not. Or occasionally, and this is rare, this happened here in my area a couple of years ago, where a major company that starts with H and ends in A, Vanderbilt stopped taking them in the first quarter of the year. So those people, they needed to make a change. So that's what they call it, the open enrollment period. That's what the open enrollment period is designed to alleviate the stress of something like that. There's always weird situations. And if you have any questions on those, you can always call me or text me at the number on the bottom of the screen if you have a situation you want to find out more about.
Give them that phone number to all the people listening on radio and iHeart and Spotify.
So if you're in the great state of Tennessee, that's where I do my business. My number is 615-578-5174.
So what happens if, I already saw one of my first benefits is going to change its eyeglasses. I was surprised that,
better?
Yeah, 3 years ago, I didn't pay anything for glasses. And this year, she said, it's $140. I went, wait a minute. I just didn't know. What do you do, Randy, with people that not everybody reads their mail? Don't you get people who don't get the letter, say, in my case, from Humana? What do you do about those people?
Well, if somebody has an unpleasant surprise and I can make their situation better, if they call me and ask me, because I sell all the different plans in the state. And in terms of Medicare Advantage, I pretty well sell them all. So I'm familiar with all of them. So say you find out your dental's a lot less than you thought, or your neighbor tells you, hey, I get this much of dental. You'd be like, well, I could find out and see if it's a better situation overall. Because generally you don't want to change your insurance just for one benefit. But if you have a good agent, I'm not like me, I'll just say it, like me, I would tell you if it's worth doing. My whole philosophy is, if you're asking me for advice, the advice I give is based on what I would do if I was you, but knowing what I know about your situation. So I would look at the whole thing and make sure you understood, because sometimes you don't want to solve one problem and give yourself 5 new ones. You know what I mean? So talking to an independent agent, we can look at it.
It must make it difficult, because I see these national commercials and, you're going to get $2,500 in a food allowance, or I'm not getting now as much as I was before, or the robocalls that, you've got $3,000 that's going to come to you. How do you fight all that off? Because usually, you've taught me that many of the times it's by county. You can't do just a blanket statement.
Well, frankly, it's an ongoing and constant challenge to keep I always try to educate my clients, but let's be real. A lot of them will get a phone call and it sounds too good to be true. Generally, because it is too good to be true.
Yeah.
And I try to coach them. Doesn't always work, but it works a lot. Where I'm like, if you hear something and it sounds too good to be true, call me and I'll let you know if that's real or not. Because every once in a while, there'll be a new plan that's not in the area that I'm in Middle Tennessee, but I sell statewide, right? There might be a plan that comes out, say, in Chattanooga that I'm not aware of yet. And I look into it and I'm like, holy cow, that is a real plan in Chattanooga. And sometimes I'll learn something like that. It's rare, but it can happen. Most of the time, though, it's what you just said. They advertise and they're talking about a zip code there in South Florida where, it's a real specific plan, or they have to have Medicaid and Medicare to be eligible for the plan they're talking about. And these people don't have Medicaid. They just have Medicare. So, they'll do a lot of baiting and switching. They just want to find out what they have. And then somebody on the phone, because I've heard this a lot. They'll be like, well, I can't give you that, but I can give you this. And then people, next thing they know, I've even had people say, I thought I was just getting this benefit. I didn't know I was changing my health plan, because they won't give them the full story, or they don't comprehend exactly what they're saying. So you got to be careful with all that kind of stuff, because these people who call you, the whole name of their game is to switch you, whether it's the right thing for you or not. Generally, it's not right for you.
You got a great text. Do you know where Brentwood is?
Oh, yeah. It's right down the road from me.
This is Tom from Brentwood. He said, I just found your show and I started listening to it, and you set up my mother's Medicare.
Oh.
And you did such a great job. She was so pleased, and she is very hard to please. She is a businesswoman, and she said you were so kind how you answered all of her questions, and you never made her feel like you were she was asking too many questions. Wow.
Well, that's a nice thank you, Tom.
That is.
I'd say hats off to you, but I'm not wearing one.
Yeah, right.
We'll just have to pretend. Thank you, Tom.
No, but
that makes me feel good.
Yeah, you know what, Randy, I got to tell you, because I know so much now more about Medicare and going through all the fines that I went through, not doing things on time. There is so much information that you have available to people that there is so much educational information when it comes to Medicare. In fact, we get questions all the time. What's the difference between Medicare and Medicaid? So people just don't know.
Well, one thing I want to point out, that if you're working past 65, because I think a lot of times where people get hung up, and kind of what happened to you in a sense, is people will go beyond their 65th birthday and not have creditable coverage. That's what happened to you, essentially, right?
Yes, exactly.
So if you're 65 and you're working beyond, and you continue to have your work insurance, you shouldn't incur a penalty, but you are going to have to go through some extra steps that somebody who just gets their Medicare A and B when they turn 65, it's a lot easier when you do it then. But say you work and you're 67 years old and you're retiring, or for whatever reason you're getting on Medicare, you got to activate your Part B later. There's always extra steps. And if you want someone to help coach you and walk you through those steps, you should use an independent person because what I do is I coach people. So my friend Dan, he's here in the studio observing this. He heard me talking to a guy today. He's been working since he's been 65. And I'm like, well, have you activated B yet? Most people don't realize they got to activate B before they can get either an Advantage plan or a supplement. Before I can write either one of those, they have to have A and B. So what happens is you have a form that you fill out, and there's a form your employer fills out. And then you got to deliver it to Social Security in the manner that they want. And it can vary by where you live. Some of them will let you walk it right into the Social Security building. Some of them want you to fax it like it's 1995. Some of them want you to leave it in a Dropbox. It could all that. But if you talk to an independent agent, they can help walk you through the steps to take, so you don't miss anything, or you start your Medicare after you want it to. You see what I'm saying?
Yes. This is from Marcus in Knoxville. He said, seniors like myself are constantly bombarded with all these ads and phone calls all the time. We were just talking about this. Why would I work with a local agent like you versus talk to some rando on the phone or calling?
It's the name of my fantasy football team, Randy's Randos.
Oh, anyway, sorry. Calling one of those helplines. Why should I work with you individually?
Because I'm nice. No, I'm just kidding. No, well, Marcus, seriously, I'm going to give you a serious answer, Marcus. So it's always preferable to work with somebody you know has got a good reputation, even if it's not me. So what you could do is you can go hop on the Google machine, and wherever you live, I don't know where you, so say you're in Knoxville and you'd rather work with somebody in Knoxville. You put in Knoxville best Medicare broker, and then some options should show up. And then you can look at Google business reviews, and you can see if you want probably 10 or more, because it's probably hard to fake having 10 or more good reviews, I would guess.
Right.
So once you have a person picked out, the reason you want to use a local person is they know, number one, what plans are good and that work in that market. And somebody you're talking to in Zimbabwe or even say Arizona, they may look at benefits on a sheet of paper and that they look pretty darn good. But if you try to use it like in the real world, it's not as good as it looks. But somebody that you're dealing with local, they kind of know the reputation of these companies. And all of these companies pay us, and they all pay us the same. So we shouldn't be biased other than what's best for each person. So if this is a reputable person that you're working with, they're going to have your best interest at heart. And furthermore, we don't charge any money. We're free to you. We're like a free value added benefit, because like I already mentioned, the people don't pay us, the companies pay us. So why would you not use a free, knowledgeable service? Like the person you talk to on the phone, you may never speak to them ever again. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So there's Marcus, there's no downside. So that's my story. I'm sticking to it.
Is there a Cleveland, Tennessee?
Yeah, it's kind of east of Chattanooga.
Okay, we got a text from Cleveland. Hey, I'm really enjoying your show. I love the personality of your agent. This has got to be a cousin of yours. No, but she said, I wonder if I can change agents. That's a good sign.
Well, here's the thing. It depends on the company. Some companies will allow you to. Some you would have to change companies to change your agent. So it comes down to the policy of the company that you have. And I'm not going to call out on a public forum which companies will let you do that. But if you want to know, you can always text or call me, and I could tell you if that's possible without changing your company.
I think she's wondering if she can change her agent over to you. I would
well,
think
maybe.
So. Yeah,
I mean, she's listening to me pontificate anyway.
Yeah, and I love it when you use big
very
words.
Flattering.
And here's another one. Oh, this is a follow-up. She wants to know, Should I stay on a group plan or go to Medicare? Oh, no, it's her husband.
Oh, it's her. Okay. So when it comes to comparing group insurance to what's available in terms of Medicare, that varies by person. I will say, from a long view, 9 out of 10 times when I compare group insurance to Medicare options, the Medicare options are better. But every once in a while, there's a situation where their work insurance is better. So what I do is I compare what they have to what's available, and I give them an honest assessment. So my philosophy, if I may say this again, is if I can make your situation better, I'll tell you, and I'll tell you how. If you already have the best thing for you, I would tell you that too. Hey, that rhymed. I'm a poet and I know it. There you go. Now I'll tell you the truth. Like if you tell me what you have, I'll look at what you have and what's available and compare them. And I'll say, look, this is this and this is this. And you would understand by the time we talked whether it was a good idea or not.
Here's probably the last question of the day. I don't have a question. I just want to thank you for giving us this great information. It is really a help. And I know there's a lot of people out there like me who are uneducated. This is your second show that I've watched, and I feel more educated now. I turn 65 next year. I will be calling you. Yeah, okay.
Please do. Yeah. And you know, when you call me, it'll be me. It won't be AI or a robot. It'll be me.
Tell people again how they can reach you.
Well, there's the main way, and the way I prefer is by my phone. You can text me, call me, 615-578-5174. If you like to email, it's Randy W. Hall, RandyWHall @yahoo.com. If you want to read any of my writing or some of my topics on Medicare, I do have a website, and it's going right by there on the bottom of the screen right now. I could see it. www.mrniceguyMedicareAdvisor.com. If you want to like read some blog posts I've written, see what my family looks like, it's on there to be disseminated and discussed amongst yourselves.
You're a good guy.
Likewise.
Randy, we love having you on the show. I got to tell you, well, you're going to be back in with us next month. I wanted to wish you a happy holiday, a happy new year. And I feel so blessed that we have you as our expert for Tennessee in Medicare.
You want to mix it up next time, Steve, and maybe tell a crazy story or two? I got some good home appointment stories, man. I think I need to bust out a good home appointment story next time.
Okay,
so stay tuned. Stay tuned. Well, January is a slow month, so stay tuned to January. We'll have some crazy home appointment stories and chop it up a little bit. You doing anything fun for Christmas?
No, I actually not at all. I'm going to rest my voice, which I rarely have a chance to do, and we're going to be feeding the poor Christmas Eve from my church.
Is that what you call your family? Okay, I was going to say, I don't know if I'd call my family that. That seems a little...
My family church.
We're going to feed the poor. They're called the Sangers.
Yeah.
No, that's really nice. That's really good, Steve. I don't mean to make fun of that.
I know. We joke around. Randy, thank you so much.
Well, thanks for having me.
Randy Hall, Mr. Nice Guy.
Always
that's going to do it for us today. We'll be back again with you next week with more Ask the Experts. And let's all pray for our great producer, Rebel, that she gets better. We need her to get better. Okay, we'll see you next week.
Thanks for tuning in today to the Ask the Expert show on W4CY Radio and Talk4 TV. Tune in next week and every week to hear more from our experts on personal injury, insurance, air condition repairs, estate planning, Medicare, and many other topics in the areas of legal, health, financial, and home improvement. See you next week.